Okay, and we're here with our next guest. You're listening to Mind Body Radio, and calling from the state of Illinois, we have Dr. Donalee Markus on the phone. We're going to be talking about cognitive restructuring and neuroscience and some other fun stuff today. Dr. Markus, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, very nice to hear from you. And before we do jump right in here, I see you have a website and maybe some social media our listeners can take a look at.
Yes, I have a website, designsforstrongminds.com, and I also have a Facebook presence under Strong Mind Puzzles. And that's where you can learn about all of my mobile applications.
Yes. All right. Excellent. Excellent. And well, where do we start here, Dr. Markus? Tell us a little about yourself and what it is you're up to nowadays.
Okay. Well, I really I practice the science of teachable intelligence. And we all recognize that the brain is plastic and modifiable at any age. But we need the tools and the technique to give individuals the opportunity for deliberate rehearsal to make these changes. So I maintain that I specialize in the clinical application of neuroscience. Other people do the research, ask the questions, and then I create the instruments that bring about the change. So for the rehabilitation of concussion, stroke, and traumatic brain injuries, the enhancement of academic performance, or the ability to maintain memory skills.
Excellent, excellent. So what is your background, Dr. Markus? How did you get into this line of work?
I was a teacher originally, early, in the late 60s. I was a junior high teacher, and then I went back to school and received a master's degree in curriculum development. Then I started on a Ph.D. in communicative disorders at Northwestern University, received a master's in that, and then went on to get a Ph.D. in administrative and management sciences. While I was at Northwestern, I read an article by Paul Chance, 1981, Psychology Today, about the father of teachable intelligence, or I have named him the father of teachable intelligence, Professor Reuben Feuerstein. And the article just captivated me. And my dissertation was on decision making in hospital administration, and I just totally changed the road traveled to incorporate Feuerstein's work, and then I did postdoctoral work with Feuerstein. And lucky for me, Los Alamos, our national laboratory, and NASA and other corporate venues found value in what I was doing and gave me the opportunity to create instruments for high-functioning adults to maximize the intelligence even of our top scientists and engineers.
Wow. Yeah. So I thought, teachable intelligence, it almost sounds too good to be true. I thought you were just, you were born the way you were born, and well, that's it. You play the cards you're dealt. But you're saying otherwise.
Not true. Not true. No, not anymore. Not anymore. There are thousands of studies that are proving brain plasticity now. Eric Kandel with his slugs and the little mazes, Marianne Diamond, who proved, with the little rodents, that we change the brains of rodents if we give them an enriched cage to play in. Many of these wonderful studies that illustrate the power of deliberate rehearsal, of playing with games, of reflecting on our behavior, on the ability of individuals to hone new skills uh, late into their, late in their years, memory skills. To maintain memory skills is very different than, entering the race after memory begins to decline. So I encourage people to, like, we maintain good health, good eating, exercise, and so forth throughout our lives, before there's a tragedy. Maintaining memory skills is possible too with the right kind of cognitive exercises. And that's what I've done with my mobile applications. I've created a venue of cognitive exercises that would help individuals maintain their skills and develop new skills.
Excellent. And surely, of course, this is something that you would, I think you used the key word there, deliberate rehearsal. This is, maybe what, something you'd have to do every day just to maintain, or this is no quick
No,
fix,
no,
is what I'm saying.
it really doesn't have to be done every day. Deliberate rehearsal means that you're mindful of what you're doing. The difference between twiddling your fingers or playing the piano. In other words, there's an intention, there's a meaning, there's transcendence that goes beyond this exercise to other situations in your life, to critical thinking throughout your life. If we change the brain in a very small way, the brain is like the chaos theory. Everything else alters. So, we have 100 billion neurons, and on each neuron we have the capability of attaching 10,000 more neurons. So, the number is staggering on the amount of plasticity at our fingertips. And so the deliberate rehearsal is really mindful rehearsal, paying attention to what you're doing, understanding why you're doing it, when you make a mistake, how to avoid an error. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it sure does. And let's spend a little bit of time on these mobile or these digital applications you were talking about, and how can they be accessed, and how exactly do they work? Are they just like little games?
Well, they are games. Yes, they definitely are games. And with gaming, we have the opportunity to take chances, to take risks, to do the game over again, to practice, to pay attention to what we're doing. And for example, Strong Mind Puzzles, one of my first applications, it provides progressive, difficult variations. So it starts out very simple, but then it becomes very complex. The rules, the graphics, the number of icons, and the abstract images all become more complex. So a 5-year-old can play the beginning level. There are 5 levels. And my NASA scientists played the top level, the expert level. But you can build to that level of expertise. And the beauty of technology is the randomization of the screens. So there are millions of screens available on every one of my applications because of the randomization. And this gives people an opportunity, if they need more rehearsal in one area, to rehearse that. And if they don't need as much rehearsal, they can just, move forward. Strong Mind Puzzles is a game that encourages the deliberate rehearsal of the voice in your head that builds executive skills. The voice in your head that reduces your impulsivity, contributes to planning behavior, encourages introspection and reflection, and provides a system to generate alternatives. So in concussion patients, in traumatic brain injuries, even in the gifted population, sometimes that voice in their head is not consistent. And we want that guidance, those executive functions, to be available all the time.
Now, I know.
You can buy these through the App Store. I encourage people to play my games on the iPad on a large iPad rather than on the phone or the smaller iPads, because this way they have the opportunity, when the games become more complex, the detail and the graphics that have ambiguity are easier to interpret.
Right, excellent. And I know we have a lot to talk about, but not a lot of time here, Dr. Markus. So we're going to have to wrap up in a moment. But before we do, I will leave you some time. Do you have any other final thoughts or any other ways to contact you?
Well, you can always contact me through my website, designsforstrongminds.com. Or you can contact me. There is a telephone number. I have a wonderful assistant, Margaret, 847-433-7878. And we try and make ourselves available to a global population. So she, because we do see people from outside of the United States, time zones vary. The presence on Facebook that explain all of my exercises. And I was just asked by Psychology Today to contribute blogs. So I will be beginning writing blogs in the next month. I will have blogs on Psychology Today. And in May, I've been contacted by a group to do webinars on how to use my materials with a clinical population. So I'll be doing that. But Margaret can give more information on those new venues that I'm forging.
Great. Well, we are out of time here with Dr. Donalee Markus. And Donalee, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to talk about brain plasticity. And I hope this gives hope to everyone in the audience. Intelligence is plastic and modifiable at any age. Thank you so much.